Alright, we're going to continue with the project 1B, and this is what your project should look like at this point. I'm zoomed out so you can see both pages at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in to focus on one page at a time here. And we're going to be working with this section on the second page. There is a group of information here, which is a meeting title. So the technical meeting happens on September 4th at 7 p.m. in Studio B. So we have a name and then a time and location. So this list of information is somewhat hard to read because it's all squished together. So we're going to try to arrange that in a more visually appealing way. And in order to do that, we're going to use what's called a tab stop. So right now we have these tabs that somebody, when they were typing, they divided the information using the tab key. That's a key on your keyboard. And it shifts the information over, but at a random spot. So it's kind of like a space, but it's not designated. It's usually around a half an inch space between items. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. But you can specify that in the tab settings, which is what we're going to talk about. So right now there is no tab setting. It's just kind of at a random spot in the document. So we're going to select this list, all of these bulleted items, and we're going to focus in the upper left hand corner of the document space for a while. And there's a tab button. This is a toggle button, so if we click here it changes. So these are the different types of tabs that you can add to your document. So this is a left tab. If I click on it one more time, this is a center tab. This is a left or a right aligned tab. Then we have a decimal. Then you have one that adds a line at the tab mark. And then you have your first line indent and your hanging indent, which we've talked about before. So most often when you load a document, it will be set to the left tab. And that's exactly, we're going to use it. We're going to use the left tab first. We're going to, on the ruler now, apply this left tab. So you need to have your rulers displayed. If you don't, that's in the View tab. Click on Ruler to show the ruler. And then we're going to hover our mouse over the 3.5 inch mark on the ruler. And now we're going to click to place our left tab stop. So right there where I clicked, I placed a left tab stop, and what that did is it shifted all the information after the tab in the document. It shifted it all over to be aligned with that left tab stop. Okay, so with this still selected, we're going to point to the left tab stop on the ruler, the one that we placed at 3.5 inches. So you want to scroll your mouse over it until you get the screen tip that says left tab. Then you know you're hovered over that tab stop. Now we're going to drag this over. So click here and then drag this over to the 4-inch mark and release. So you can see this is adjustable. I can move this tab stop around, and the text will follow that tab stop. So now we're going to, on the ruler, point to the tab marker, and this is very tricky. You need to make sure that you're directly over the tab stop. You'll see the screen tip that says left tab. Then you're going to double click right there, and you should see this window pop up. If you don't, I'm going to click cancel. So if you happen to be in a different spot on the ruler and try to double click, you can set a new tab stop and open the window, or you may simply have just created a new tab stop in a random spot on the ruler. So if that happens, you can grab that tab stop with your mouse and then just simply drag it anywhere off of the ruler to get rid of it. So I placed a couple extra ones here I'm just going to get rid of. So that is a little bit tricky. You want to make sure that your mouse is directly over the tab stop. Then double click kind of quickly, and you get this window to open up. Now there's another way to get into this window. That is by going to the paragraph settings, which is found right here, the little tiny button in the lower left hand corner of the paragraph group. So if you click on this, there's a button in the lower left hand corner to open up that tabs window. This is where you can see the settings for your tab stops. So whichever method you want to use, we're going to be viewing this information here for our tab stop. So once we're in here, we can see that we have a tab stop at the 4-inch position, and it's left aligned. That's this one here. What we're going to do is we're going to highlight this and click clear. We're removing the tab stop. Now click OK. You can see that we just cleared all of the tab stops. They're gone now. So what we want to do is we're going to specify a specific type of tab stop. So we want to do a right aligned tab stop instead of the left. So I'm going to toggle through until I see this right tab, and then I'm going to place it around the 6-inch mark. Now you can see that this is all aligned to the right. So all these words line up with this right tab stop. Now let's say I want to be a little bit more precise, and I want to add a visual connector between the first set of information and the second set of information. So to do that, I'm going to get into the tab settings by double-clicking this. And what I'm going to do is clear this so I can be very specific in what I want. And I want to add this tab stop at the 6-inch mark. So I'm going to type in 6. I want it to be right aligned, which is already set to be right aligned. And I want to add what's called a dotted leader. So in the leaders section, I want to select this option number 2 for the dotted leader. I'm going to press Set, which is going to add this tab stop to my list of tab stops. Then I'm going to press OK. And now I have applied a tab stop specifically at 6 inches that aligns all my text on that edge, and I've added a what's called a dotted leader, so it makes it visually easy to see which date and time and space is with each of these meetings. So this is one of the more technical and difficult things that we'll do in Word, so I wanted to take some extra time to explain all those steps. Alright, now we're ready to move on. Actually, no, we're going to add one more item. So we're going to locate where it says Art in this list. And we're going to position our insertion point at the end of this line. So at the end of the paragraph, right after cafeteria. Then we're going to press Enter. Now we're going to type in a new meeting name, video editing. Then after you type that, you're going to press the Tab key. And notice what happens. Your cursor is lined up all the way to the right. So it's following the tab stops. Now I'm going to type in the date and the location. September 10th. $7 p.m. And that is also in the cafeteria. I'll pause for a moment. You can pause the video if you want to type this, and then come back for the next step. Alright, we're going to save our document just to make sure we don't lose any work. Save. Now we're going to go to the top of our document. So you want to scroll to the top. Now we're going to the right of the subtitle, Internship Guide. We're going to click to position our cursor. Now we're going to select the Insert tab. And then in the Illustrations group, we're going to choose Smart Art. Now in the center of the portion that says Choose Smart Art Graphic, you just scroll through and look at all the different variety of custom smart art that's available here. There's a lot of different things that you can create. Now on the left, there's different categories. So we're going to choose the category Process. This is going to narrow down that list. Now we're going to locate and click Basic Chevron. So that you'll need to hover over to get the screen tip to see which one is the basic chevron. This one right here. In my screen, it is in the 5th row, the second one in from the left. So you want to locate that and then click on it. You'll see a little preview of what that will look like. Then click OK. Now we've placed what's called a Smart Art object. And since this is still selected, we just created it, we have the Smart Art Tools section up here at the top, and there are two tabs. There's a Design tab and there's a Format tab. Right now we're going to, in the ribbon, we're going to make sure that the Design tab is selected for the Smart Art Tools, not the Design tab for the document, but the specific one for the Smart Art. Now in the Create Graphic group, which is the first group on the left, notice the Text Pane button. We're going to click on that, see what happens. And then we're going to click on that to close it again. We're going to use that in just a moment. So in the Smart Art graphic, this graphic itself, you have the overall graphic that can be selected, and then you have these individual graphics inside that can also be selected. So make sure the first graphic is selected, and then we're going to select where it says text. Just click there. That word text is simply a placeholder, and we're going to type apply online. Now I didn't have to press enter to create a new line of text. I just have a space between apply and online. Now select the next graphic over, and we're going to type in interview. And then in the last one, train on the job. Then save. Right now we're going to make sure that only the outside box is selected. So I'm going to click on the border, that box, to deselect the individual graphic and make sure that only the outer box is selected. Now you can see that you are able to adjust the size like you would an image. You have these little handles that you can move around. But we're going to give a specific dimension, and that will be found in the Format tab. So I'm going to switch over to the Format tab. Then I have the height and width settings. I'm going to change the height to 1.75. And I'm going to change the width to 6.5. Now with this still selected, we're going to click on the Smart Art Tools Design tab again. And in the Smart Art Styles group, which is this large group here, we're going to click on Change Colors. Under the Colorful group, we're going to click the fourth style. So this is the Colorful group. 1, 2, 3, fourth style. And on the Design tab, we're still on the Design tab for the Smart Art. In the Smart Art Styles group, click the More button. So this is the More button. It just expands this to show more options. Now under 3D, we're going to click the second style, which is called Inset. Alright, now we're going to go to the end of our document. We're done with the Smart Art. So scroll down to the bottom. We should have 3 pages, and there's a paragraph on the 3rd page. I'm going to click at the very end after the period. And then in the Insert tab, we're going to find in the Media group the option for an online video. Here you can search very popular YouTube option. We're going to type Go, G-O, 1B video, then press Enter to search. We're going to select the first video and then click Insert. So we've just inserted an online video to the end of our document. Now we're going to edit the size of this. For the height option, we're going to type in 1.5. We're done now. I'm just going to zoom out to show you what your document should look like. Now that I have 3 pages, it's kind of hard to see. So this is what your document should look like, the 3 different pages. And what we're going to do is just save your work, and then we will wait until next week to print these out and turn them in. All right, have a good weekend.